Good morning. I'm Stampin' Dee Dee, and this is Stampin' Thursday. So I'm here today to talk about color. Thank you for being here with me. I hope that there are some watching live, and if you are, then please let me know. Say hi, tell me where you're from, and if you're watching this replay, thank you so much for doing that. And if you're watching it on YouTube, I appreciate you so much. If you haven't subscribed and clicked the bell, then be sure and do that. And when you watch the video, if it's something that you think someone else will enjoy, then share it with them or share it on your Facebook page, and others will see it. Give me a happy face or a thumbs up or a like. That helps so much. So here we are today, and I have shared before that I have trouble with color. I'm not good with color, and I know that. So I find ways to get help with color, and one of the things that I love is the Stampin' Up Color Coach, and this is what it looks like, and every Stampin' Up color is in here, every single one, and they have paired the colors with other Stampin' Up colors for you. So as you can see, there are a lot of pages because there are a lot of colors. And it also includes the new in colors. Strawberry Slush is one of the new in colors, and it's one of my favorites. I love Strawberry Slush. So I use this to help me put colors together and create. I've also said that I'm not a creative person in and of myself. I have to find ways to get help with that. And so I've shown you before, I use sketches. I use examples from the catalog. I watch YouTubes. I look on Pinterest. And those things spark creativity for me. I can't just sit here and come up with it all by myself. And I know that there are demonstrators that do. And I am envious of that. But we do have so much help available to us. And this color coach, it's one of the ways that we have help, or that I have help. So I wanted to show you, also we'll show you this. So let's look at Strawberry Slush. So one of the samples is Strawberry Slush, Lost Lagoon, and Lemon Lolly. So then if we go to, let me look here. I'm looking for Lost Lagoon. Because when you go to a different color, you get a whole new set of suggestions, color combinations. I'll get there. There we are. All right, so we saw that on Strawberry Slush, you've got Strawberry Slush, Lost Lagoon, and Lemon Lolly that go together. And yet, if you look at Lost Lagoon, it also gives you Pretty Peacock and Crumb Cake, or Daffodil Delight and Berry Vanilla, or Berry Burst and Cajun Craze. It gives you a whole new set of colors. So there's just an endless combination of colors that can be used. But we're going to look at Strawberry Slush, Pretty in Pink. Let's see. Strawberry Slush, I think that must be the either the Pretty in Pink or the Soft Sea Foam. Let's see. Oh no, you know what I did on this first one? This is the one I started with, and I didn't have my color coach out. So I just came up with 3 colors, and this is kind of an example of there wasn't enough contrast here. This is Strawberry Slush, Pretty in Pink, and Soft Seafoam, and it's pretty, but there wasn't as much contrast. When I went to my color coach, I did Strawberry Slush, Pumpkin Pie, and Coastal Cabana. And look at the contrast. Look at the contrast there. So that's kind of what I was talking about. I would never put Strawberry Slush and Pumpkin Pie together. And yet, I think it's beautiful. So let's look at these. And I did this in 2 different ways. Let me find, here we are. I made myself a mask or a stencil. I just used, this is an older, or a retired die now, the Countryside, what are they called? Countryside Corners? Yeah, the Countryside Corners. I used one of these to create this one. So I just cut it out, and I would lay it down on my cardstock, and I would use some Post-it tape and secure it, and then use my blending brush and the colors, and that's how I created the background. And then I keep this, and I use it over and over and over. This one, I used one of my Stylish Shapes dies. Let me grab that one. Here we are. I used one of my Stylish Shape dies and created this mask or template or whatever. Let's see. Yeah, there you can see the colors that I actually used on it. So that's my Strawberry Slush, my Pumpkin Pie, and my Coastal Cabana. So that's how I use both of these templates for cards, and you can go different ways with this one. You could use square, you could use anything like that. So let's look at this one. I did this with, let me grab the, I should have kept it out. It is, hold on a minute, is it Mixed Florals? No, it is Gallery Blooms. So I used the Gallery Blooms stamp set, and I used the Secret Sea, which is one of the new in colors, and it is close to black, but you can see the difference here. This one is Secret Sea. This one is basic Memento Black. It's got a little bit of blue. Can you see that? It's got a little bit of blue mixed in with it. And it's just a little bit milder. I don't know if you can see the difference. But if you put them up side by side, let me turn this light on. Maybe that will help. I don't know if that will help or not. Can you see the difference? This one is just a little bit lighter. Just a little bit. I don't think you can see the difference. But there is. There is a difference. So I used the Secret Sea on this one. Stamped this stamp and just a thank you, and I used some gems on this. Very simple card. Used my blending brushes to create this. So there's that one, and this one I used the circle, and I used the same stamp. Added a little bit of ribbon, another sentiment. On this one, I did create an inside with a stamp and just a little bit of the Strawberry Slush. And on the envelope, I used my blending brushes and created a little bit of interest on the flap. So there's that one. And I don't know that I did anything. No, I didn't on this one. All right. Then for this one, I used the Silly Safari stamp set. And I used Basic Beige and Peach Pie. And let's see, Basic Beige, Peach Pie, Daffodil Delight, and Lost Lagoon. And I added a fourth color. I wanted 4 colors. So let's see if I can find where I probably started with Basic Beige. Let me see. Because I wanted to use that color, and I wasn't sure. I think it was toward the back. There. Yeah. So I looked at Basic Beige, and I went with Basic Beige, Daffodil Delight, and Lost Lagoon. And then I looked around here for other colors that went with the Basic Beige and that I thought would go with these two. And I picked up Peach Pie because I wanted 4 colors. So I thought it turned out really well. I used the stamps. These little frond stamps are from the Silly Safari, and I just love that giraffe. And then the Woohoo, It's Your Day also comes from the Silly Safari. So, you know, that it doesn't even have to be a kid's card. This could be a card for an adult. All right. Then I went to a different stencil or template. I went to this one. And I formed this one. Let me get by using an Unbounded Love die. And it was a 2 1/4 by 1.5 inch die. And I tell you that because this is 4 by 5 1/4 piece of cardstock. And so I did my die. I divided it out to see how much to leave on each end and how much to leave in the middle. And was able to form this using that die. And you could use any die, any size, but that die really worked for me. So it was the 2 1/4 by 1.5 inch die that I used. So the 2 1/4, so that's 4 and it's 2 1/4. Oh, this is 1.5 and 1.5. That's 3, and this is 4 inches. So I just knew I needed to leave a 1/2 inch on each side. And the same thing with the 2 1/4. That's 4.5. And this was 5, so I just needed to leave a 1/2 inch at the top and the bottom. So that's how I figured that one out. And then the colors that I used were Fresh Freesia, Pool Party, and Gorgeous Grape. And let's see. Fresh Freesia, Pool Party. I probably went with Gorgeous Grape, but I'm not sure. Pool Party, no, it wasn't Pool Party. Fresh Freesia or Gorgeous Grape. So Gorgeous Grape may not even be, yeah, I think it is. Maybe that's, Well, I'm looking for it. There we are. but it's not. Oh, there it is. All right. I wasn't sure which color I had looked up, but it was Fresh Freesia. So let's go here. It was Fresh Freesia, Gorgeous Grape, and Pool Party. So because I needed 4 corners and only had 3 colors on this one, I used Pool Party twice. And then Fresh Freesia and Gorgeous Grape. So the way I did this one was I took my cardstock, I taped my cardstock down to my glass mat. I put this over it, even with the edges, and taped it down to the glass mat over the cardstock. And then I used pieces of Post-it paper. And really, because I did the outside corners, I didn't have to really block anything. And I'll show you on a different one why I had to use the Post-its. But I just used my blending brush and came in and left a little corner, a little color in the outside corner. And then on this one, I used Spotlight on Nature. I used the Spotlight on Nature butterfly. I used several sets on this one. I used this one and this one and this one, and just used the edge of it. And then I used the Wishing, what is that? Delightful Wishes. I used the Delightful Wishes. I used the Wishing, and I did black and white. Wishing you well. So, and I raised this up with dimensionals. On the inside, I colored a couple of the edges with the blending brush and probably the Fresh Freesia and the butterfly from Spotlight on Nature. And I did the same thing on the front of the envelope with one of the stamps from Gallery Blooms. All right, so we've got that one. And on the next one, I reversed it. So I used my template again, put it over it, but now I'm going to color the inside corner. Instead of this outside corner, I'm going to color the inside corner. So what I had to do was put a Post-it right there and right here so that I didn't get ink outside that, and then I could color my corner. And then I did the same thing, the Post-it, used the Post-its for my stamps, and came in and basically used the same sets. I used this stamp and this flower and this butterfly, and I used something from somewhere else. Let's see if I can get to it real quickly. Not sure I can. Yeah, Mixed Florals. So then I used this stamp from Mixed Florals right there. And I did use an older set where the Sending Love and Big Hugs. On the inside, I used the butterfly. And on the envelope, I used the butterfly. So that was a different way. This one was a little bit harder. And because this one was a little bit harder, I decided to demonstrate this one. So I'm going to set these aside. Now, let me say this. The Color Coach if you want a copy of the Color Coach, if you will email me at suzyzoo@verizon.net, suzyzoo@verizon.net. Let me write that. Let me see if I have that printed out. I don't think I do. I don't think I have it printed out, but it's suzyzoo@verizon.net. SUZYZOO @verizon.net. I will email you a link to get these. And then you can print them off or just download it and use it from your computer. All right. Okay, so we're going to use this template. And we're going to use the same color combination. We're going to use the Lost Lagoon, the Peach Pie, the Basic Beige, and the Daffodil Delight. So that was the one that I did from Peach Pie or Basic Beige. I showed you that from the Basic Beige and added the Lost Lagoon. So I might not, I don't know that I want to, yeah. Oh, I added the Peach Pie, Basic Beige, Daffodil Delight, Lost Lagoon, and I added Peach Pie. So because we've got 4 corners, I want to use 4 colors. I'm going to move some of these out of the way. And I want to use the Silly Safari stamp set. I think this will make a really, really cute card. So, let's do it. I decided I wanted to use Basic Beige base. So I have it ready to go. We're going to put the Color Coach out of the way. And I want to use Very Vanilla on the Basic Beige. I think I like that, or at least I want to try it with the Basic Beige. That's for the inside. And we're going to mat it. We're going to mat it with the black, but we're not going to do that until we finish this, because I left it the same size as my template, and then I'm going to trim it down just a little bit. So let me get my template secure. I'm going to use Post-it tape and just put it toward the top so that it'll be behind the template. And I'll put it here. I'm going to do it in a couple more places. I just want to make sure it stays down. Let me look and see. All right. And now we're going to put the template on top of it. And I'm going to secure it with my Post-it tape. Make sure my edges are even. Yep, they are. Secure it there. And here. One more. And here. All right. Hopefully that isn't going to move for us. I've got my blending brushes ready to go. And I'm just going to start with my Daffodil Delight. I got my yellow blending brush. I do have a scrap piece of paper right over here. Maybe I can get this over here where you can see it better. And I'm going to go right in here. I'm going to go ahead, just to be sure, and I'm going to put a Post-it here and a Post-it here. Just so I know that I don't have to be quite so careful. And I'm just going to blend the color into the corner. Maybe a little darker right in the corner. And then blend it out. Okay. Got that one done. Set the Daffodil Delight aside. And now we'll take Basic Beige. And turn this around this way. Move this over. We'll put it right here, the Basic Beige. Right there. Put this right here. And let's see. Okay. And we're going to just give it some color. The Basic Beige almost comes off with a green tint. I don't know if you've noticed that or not. So if you're expecting a beige, it's not. It's more of a green. A real pale green with maybe brown undertones. Okay. Maybe a little more. There we go. Just bring it out just a little bit. Okay. So we've got our Basic Beige. And now we're going to do our Peach Pie. So again, move these around. Move this here and this here. And get my orange brush. This really is so easy to do. And it just is so, it's so unique. I think that's all I need to do. Get a little color right there. There we go. Peach Pie. And now we're going to do the Lost Lagoon. Now the Lost Lagoon is dark. So we need to really be careful with the Lost Lagoon. It comes off dark. So I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to do it over here a couple of times and then come in. Okay, I'm going to really ink it up right here. See how dark that is? But I wanted it darker right here in the corner. Right there. right there in the corner. I wanted it darker, and then I want it to come out. It's tricky when you've got a darker color because you don't want the whole thing to be dark. Trying to even it out. All right. Well, it's definitely darker in the middle. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to even it out any more than that. So we're going to leave it like that. Get my brush wiped off. All right, we have our 4 colors on. We're going to leave our mask on because now we're going to do our images. And I'm going to start with the leaf, and I'm going to use Secret Seed. And I'm going to do the leaf on the darkest one. I need to get this back on. I'm going to come right there. And I could go back, but I'm not, with all these fronds, I'm not going to do that. I should have pressed down a little harder, but I can come in with any black marker that you may have, and you can just make do. All right. There we have that. And then I want to, let me clean this. Get this cleaned off. And then I want to do the monkey. I'm going to do the monkey next. So I'm going to get it out of my set. I'm going to leave my leaf on the block because I may want to use that for the inside. So I've got my monkey on a block, and I'm going to put my monkey right here. So I just want to make sure I don't get it over the edge. And okay, and I'm going to put him right here. Up. Right there. And mash down close to the edge so we get all of it. Better, much better. I should have mashed down on the frond. I forgot to do that. Okay, got our monkey cleaned up. And then we're going to do Let's do the giraffe. And I need a bigger block. Well, no, I don't. Because I'm not doing all of the giraffe. And I want the giraffe just coming in from, I don't know that it's going to matter with the giraffe. I want the giraffe just coming in from the side here. And I want all of his head to show. So I'm going to turn him this way just a little bit so that his ear and his nose show. Okay, and I'm going to really mash close to the edge here so I get that in. Okay, there we are. My spots on the giraffe are not coming free. There we go. Okay, so put my giraffe away. And last, we're going to use the zebra. And I have him on a block already. And we want to put something right here so we don't overlap right there. Okay, I think we're good. Get the zebra on here. And get him right here. Right here, mash down around the edges. Oh, and it still didn't come off. So let me see if I can get those edges. There we go. Just the edge. That's all I wanted. Okay. All right. I think we've got everything we want from our templates. So let me get this here. You know, I should, let me look. See if I can go a little darker with this right here. Where I didn't come in. Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah. These pens are remarkable. They're the Micron, Pigma Micron pens. And I have, let's see, I have 0.01, 0.03, and 0.05. And I use these for times like this. I use them all the time. All right, now we're ready to add this to our card front, add our sentiment, and our card is done now. We also would want to do the inside. But let's go ahead and, while we have the black out, or the secret C, and do our sentiment. And the sentiment is going to be from this set, Hakuna Matata. Do you know what Hakuna Matata means? It means no worries. No worries. Nothing to worry about. So, Hakuna Matata. And we're going to put it sort of in the center because we're going to use a die. to cut it out. And this is from the Stylish Shapes. And we're just going to do it right there. And let me go over to my machine real quick and cut it out. All right, got that done. Hakuna Matata. I think probably, especially your younger generation, they all know what Hakuna Matata means. I didn't know that. All right, before I put this on, I want to put some string down, some twine. Let me close this for now. Let's put some twine down. I thought maybe I would wrap it around this twice. Put that in the back. I need my tape. So let me get my tape. Just Scotch tape. To tape it down, just get a piece of Scotch tape. Put them together and oops. I could do two separate ones, but I don't see the need to do that. There we go. And I want it crossed over. And then I also want to tie a double bow. So let me get enough off to tie a double bow. And do it up here. Straighten this out some. Let's get a bow tied. You know, I might not have left enough because I didn't. So I'll use that for another card. I want it to stick out behind my, I want it to stick out behind my sentiment. So it needs to be longer than normal. Yeah, this is much better. Sorry, didn't think about that. Yeah. So this is going to go right there. All right. Cut this off. Put this down with a glue dot. It could even be bigger. It could be a little bigger. Maybe with not so much string hanging out. So you could have left even more string. Get a glue dot on the back of it. Put it on here, right in the middle. Sort of separate these a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to put dimensionals on this. Just a couple of them is all we need. Put this right in the middle of the whole thing. There we go. There we go. Hakuna Matata. And now we're going to glue this to our black base. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Oh, poo. So, I'll make my black base a little bit bigger. Yeah, I forgot to trim it. I did. I forgot to trim it. So 4 by 5 1/4, 4 1/2, 4 1/2, 4 by 5 1/4. I'll make it almost. Let's see. This should work. There we go. Yeah. And then it'll go on the basic beige. Ideally, well, none of the basic beige shows. Ideally, I would have trimmed that, and I just got carried away. Let me see. Y'all always get to see my mistakes. And I make them all the time. And I just have to work to fix them. There we go. All right. Yeah. Yeah, we just have to work to fix them. But hopefully if you see me making it, you won't make the same mistake. There we go. A little bit of black, and that's all I wanted was just the tiniest little sliver of black around it. And the tiniest little sliver of basic beige, which is what we got. Make sure I got it on the right one. Yeah, good. All right. So now we need our inside piece. And I think for that, I will just do our basic beige. And take our basic beige. And I want to do the frond. So I could do it either way. I'm going to put it on this side. Here we go. It doesn't take much. And I've got an envelope here too. And I could do the same thing on the envelope. Just put it in the corner. Okay. And use our frond and our secret seed. Put my tape away. So for the inside, I may do a couple of fronds. And maybe even one in the middle that's going to be reduced because it's a second generation stamp. So that's for the inside. And I think for this one, we're just going to do the one. Yeah. We could second generation it. And third generation it. There we go. And I need to get a rag. Get that off before I get it on the envelope. All right, let's put this on the inside. You could put a sentiment on the inside if you wanted to. You could put an explanation of Hakuna Matata. But I didn't do that. All right. Here we go. All right, we have our card, our envelope, ready to go. With our, there we go. So, I hope I have encouraged you to try some of these methods. Once you get your stencil made, and it is no big deal to do that, then you can start making cute cards with pretty colors. Here's this one and this one. All right. I hope I've encouraged you to do that. Once you get the stencil made, it is so easy. Hi, Kay. Aren't those cute animals? You know, when I first saw them, I thought, oh, I don't think I would use that, but I love them. I love them. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll let me know your, email me, and if you email me, then I'll have your email address, and I will send you a link to get the Color Coach. You'll be glad you did. Thank you so much for watching. Kay, thanks for being here. And those of you who are watching on YouTube, thank you for watching as well. All right. Have a blessed weekend. Bye-bye.